Okay, so the question I've received is, how do I stop being afraid of the symptoms? I know it's just anxiety, but my first instinct is to get rid of the feelings. I know this is why I'm stuck, but I can't get out of it for some reason. Of course, the feeling of anxiety isn't a comfortable feeling, right? Yeah, we don't really want to feel it. So it's only natural that when we experience uncomfortable feelings, we'd rather sort of try to get rid of them and replace them with better feelings. But if you try to get rid of it, what's going to happen? It's going to stick around for longer. It's going to grow. It's going to stay in your life longer than what it needs to be. So what can we do instead? Well, it's first necessary to understand where this anxiety is coming from in the first place, right? So we might worry about something bad happening, right? That could be ourselves getting sick, our children getting sick, losing our jobs, not being able to pay the bills, etc. When we worry that something bad might happen, it triggers the feelings of anxiety, right? So that is the ultimate cause. What can exacerbate the anxiety further is more stress in your life. The more stress you have in your life, it's going to make these symptoms more frequent, more intense, as will further worry. Now, when people start to get these symptoms, now they start to worry about the symptoms. They become fearful that these symptoms are a sign that there's something medically wrong with them, or they become fearful that they might not be able to get rid of them and therefore their lives are always going to be less optimum that they would like. But some people think, well, okay, I need to keep worrying or fearing the symptoms. Well, that's the thing with anxiety. Anxiety kind of tricks us into believing that further worry is going to solve the problem. That further worry is going to somehow eliminate the symptoms. So a question that you might like to ask yourself is, if the cause of my symptoms, if the cause of my anxiety is worry, is fear, is stress, then how is more worry, more fear, and more stress going to solve the problem? Right? We need a different approach. So what can we do instead of fearing the symptoms and worrying about the symptoms and worrying about more things in the future? What we actually need to do, even though it might sound counterintuitive, is to actually allow ourselves to feel the feelings of anxiety, to feel the symptoms, right? And people will say, well, I don't want to feel the symptoms. I want to get rid of them, And I understand that, but if we go about things in that way, I'm sure you've probably already figured out that it doesn't work, right? We're dealing with the emotional part of the brain. So can you imagine if you go to touch a hot stove and the stove burns you? Now you've quickly realized that the stove is a source of danger, and the fear center of the brain, the hippocampus, the amygdala, has registered that you've touched this hot stove. It's registered that this is a source of danger to you. And now anytime you go near a stove or something that resembles a stove, right, this fear center is going to start setting off this stress response to tell you that you're in danger. And what is a good thing to do when you are in danger? A good thing to do is to avoid the source of danger, so you keep yourself safe, you keep yourself alive. So this is why we try to basically implement this same strategy when it comes to anxiety, right? But if we try to avoid the feelings of anxiety, what we're going to do is inadvertently teach that fear center of our brain, that this feeling of anxiety and the symptoms of anxiety are a source of danger, right? So now anytime you feel anxiety, right, you have these symptoms, your brain starts saying danger, danger, danger. And what are you going to try to do? You're going to try to get away from these feelings. You're going to try to get rid of them in some way or another. So like I said before, what we need to do is we need to go into those feelings. We need to feel them, right? We need to feel the full force of this anxiety, the full force of these symptoms. So the best thing to start doing is to engage in a regular mindfulness practice, specifically a mindfulness practice where you're going to get in tune with the feelings in your body. Try to make mindfulness a regular part of your life. And whenever these symptoms or feelings of anxiety come up in the future, instead of trying to get rid of them or wishing that they would go away, simply drop into your body. Try to get out of your mind and really tune in to your senses. Really become in tune with those feelings, okay? Now, this might seem quite difficult at first, especially if your anxiety and stress level is very high. It's going to seem very, very difficult, okay? But what's going to happen over time is that you're teaching your brain that anxiety and anxiety symptoms is not a threat, is not something to be worried about, right? And as you acclimatize yourself more and more to these feelings, the fear center of the brain is going to register, oh, this isn't a threat, and it's going to stop sounding off the alarm bells to say that you're in danger, okay? It's the opposite of what your instincts are telling you to do, but it's also the best thing to do if you want long-term freedom from anxiety.